Foreplay. We have Colonial Week. Foreplay is always presented by Barstool Sports. It's Riggs and Trent. Trent, Daddy.
What's up?
What's going on?
Not much. Your voice is coming in and out. You're a little squeaky, but
I'm a little squeaky.
Happy to be back.
I pretty much lose my voice every weekend.
Yeah, you're going hard
at this point.
You're drinking fun. Drinking is more fun than not drinking, Riggs.
That's true. That's correct. We're going to put that on a shirt, everyone that's wondering.
No way.
We just don't know the design yet. There's been many theories. One of them is to just screenshot the tweet.
I don't love that. You know what just came to my head, and this is the first time I've heard about this shirt idea.
Okay.
You know the Vote for Pedro shirts from Napoleon Dynamite? Yep. I think you just do it in that font. You put it on a fucking shirt.
There's been talk of doing it in like the Webster Dictionary definition font so that it's like a fact.
Yep, I like that too.
So anyways.
You and T-shirt got to figure that out.
Anyways, big weekend was in Boston. We were up there for Heal Our Heroes, our buddy Captain Cons from Zero Blog 30 fame. We played a little golf, which we're going to get into. Had a nice 6.5, 7 hour drive back of what's supposed to be 3.5 hours last night because of traffic. However, the beauty of when I got back, I had a little Blue Apron waiting for me. Got to make myself a nice home-cooked meal. For those that don't know, Blue Apron is the #1 fresh ingredient and recipe delivery service in the entire country. Their mission is to make incredible home cooking accessible to everyone. Blue Apron achieves this by supporting a more sustainable food system, setting the highest standards for ingredients, building a community of home chefs. Not all ingredients are created equal. Fresh, high-quality ingredients make a real difference, so it's important to know where your food comes from. That's why Blue Apron is the best. Talk about good stuff. Talk about high quality. Talk about how you get to whip up your own meal in your own house with everything kind of put into the package for you, so it's as easy as possible while still having fun cooking.
Yeah, you can feel accomplished while you're cooking.
It's the best thing in the world. That's why we love it. For less than $10 per person per meal, Blue Apron delivers seasonal recipes along with pre-portioned ingredients to make delicious home-cooked meals. Customize your recipes each week based on your preferences. Blue Apron has several delivery options, so you can choose what fits your needs. And there's no weekly commitment, so you only get deliveries when you want them. Each meal comes with step-by-step, easy-to-follow recipe card and pre-portioned ingredients. So check out this week's menu. Get your first 3 meals free. With free shipping by going to blueapron.com/foreplay. That's blueapron.com/FOREPLAY. You're going to love how good it feels, tastes to create incredible home-cooked meals with Blue Apron, so do not wait. That's blueapron.com/foreplay. Blue Apron, a better way to cook. So we had Byron Nelson week this week, Trent, Daddy.
Yep.
Boys are down near Dallas.
Yeah. Did you want to talk about you playing Brett in Boston?
That's true. I did. I wanted to talk about office manager Brett. He got a little liquid courage on Friday night.
We should preface, Brett's a pretty good golfer, yes?
Not a bad player.
Did he play golf at Northeastern? Do I have that mistaken?
So I believe that they have like a club golf team.
Okay.
That's pretty decent there at Northeastern. I believe he played on that a little bit.
Because he's got the Northeastern bag around the office. It's the bag that we took on Times Square. It's the bag we took for Spring Break Boys. It's an infamous bag at this point.
It's one of the more famous golf bags there is because Brett's the only person that left his golf bag here at the office forever.
Yeah, so whenever we shoot a video, we grab it like we need clubs. We're just going to take this.
Swing his clubs out on the concrete, out in Times Square. We just kind of fuck with his shit all the time.
But the trade-off there is you get your bag in Times Square or Time Magazine.
Everyone's always like, I didn't know you and Trent played golf at Northeastern. Like, no,
we didn't.
It's office manager Brett. So anyways, not a bad golfer. And, we've played a couple rounds together. Usually we've been on the same team. Always have a good time. But I've been playing like shit lately, and Brett knows that. And so he challenged me Friday night.
Yeah, this is the thing. So you guys went up to Boston Friday night. He gets liquid courage and challenges you. Guys are going to play Saturday. That's correct?
We're going to play Saturday, and we're playing at my former home track.
What is that, Granite Links?
Granite Links Golf Club up in Quincy, Mass., where I've, no joke, probably played 400 or 500 rounds.
Right.
So he gets drunk, challenges me to $100, straight up stroke play, 2-to-1 odds. He gets 2-to-1 odds.
Okay.
Sure, Brett. I had, I think, a 7-shot lead through 3 holes.
Yeah.
Absolutely dusted him. I played pretty well. He did not play his greatest. He was kind of struggling around the greens. So that was fun. Always good to shit kick somebody, especially when there's some cash on the line.
Did he know that you were playing on your home course? You probably told him that.
I didn't tell. I mean, I didn't read. He knew, but he just wasn't thinking of it.
You didn't tell. He just knows that in his head, but you weren't like,
no.
If we play tomorrow, we're going to be playing on Granite Links.
Once we made the wager, I said to him, we're playing on my home course. I know every nook and cranny and blade of grass on this thing. I've been everywhere. He was like, shit, I forgot about that.
Shit. And you're just a better golfer than he is.
Yeah, and based on the handicap system and all that, I should beat him almost all the time. And I did. I dusted him. I think I beat him by about 15 or 16 strokes.
Okay.
So Brett can suck it.
Proud of you. Good job.
We also played with Smitty, who might have the most preposterous fundamentals and alignment issues I've ever seen in my entire life.
I noticed there were no video evidence of Smitty's swing that came out of the trip. I'm guessing that was by design.
It's just he's so far off that it wasn't even worth putting on social media. So he's got this vicious hook, which is like the worst miss you can have in the world because your ball never stops rolling. He aims maybe 90 yards right on every shot. Like 90 yards right, and then just tries to hook it in there, but like you can't control that.
No.
So even when he would hit one on line that would land near a flag, it would bounce and roll like 40 yards left and back. It was chaotic.
All I see when I envision Smitty golfing, because I have yet to golf with him yet, although we're going to, I just feel like he's mumbling like, just get me on a dodgeball court. Just get me on a dodgeball court. I'll show you what's really
he
up.
was like, you should see how far I can throw the golf ball. All right, Smitty.
Did he say that?
No.
Oh,
felt like
that would have been so Smitty. Like, all right, fuck this. I'm going to throw it the rest of the round, and I'm going to beat you guys.
But to Smitty's credit, he told us beforehand, he's like, I'm a terrible golfer.
Yeah.
I only golf 2 or 3 times a year, but I want to go up and have fun with you guys. He was positive spirits all day. We had a couple beers. The views were nice. The weather was nice. We were with the whole crew of the Heal Our Heroes guys.
That's the underrated aspect. If you're like a really bad golfer, like the way it sounds that Smitty is, you have to warn everyone, and you have to just have a good attitude. You can't be out there acting like you should be better than you are.
And you got to play efficiently, like quick. And he does. He doesn't hold anybody up. He stands up. He kind of takes one little practice whack. He aims 1,000,000 yards right, and then he swings. And whatever happens, he's totally cool with it. So Smitty was great out there. Great guy to golf with. We had a good time. Anyways.
Yeah. I didn't go.
Else?
No, I didn't go with you, but I stayed back, and on Friday night I got tacos and margaritas with Caleb and Hank. And it was great.
You took much heat for not coming up.
I did take a lot of heat for
But
going
a lot
up.
of it was from like Gaz, who just chirps everybody.
Gaz is always giving me shit. Gaz knows how to peer pressure and push my buttons. He's the person I've gone out with most since I've gotten to New York, and it's not because we're buddies and we're close friends, but he knows right on Fridays when to say we drinking tonight. He has it down to
sweet spot.
He has it down to a science, and every time I say, "Yep, let's go."
Yeah, there are a couple Barstool girls that were looking for you. They were like, "Oh, I thought Trent was coming up."
You didn't tell me that part.
I didn't want to hurt you while you're back in New York.
You wanted to hurt me live on air.
Yep, that's exactly what I wanted to do.
All right, well, we might have to talk afterwards. I might have to get some names, and we'll talk about this.
We'll talk about that offline.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Anyways, on to the PGA Tour Byron Nelson week. Billy Horschel, victorious, down in Dallas.
Down in Dallas.
Like Irving, Texas, technically. Little playoff win. It was a kind of a sad finish with our boy Jay Day, who had like 48 feet for birdie. Gave it a really good run.
Yeah, Billy Horschel is your sworn enemy.
I do not like Billy
on the
Horschel.
PGA Tour. So, yeah, coming down to the wire, it was Jason Day and Billy Horschel, and I would say 90% of people, at least on social media, were pulling for Jason Day.
Yeah, it was hard not to. We also got to talk about James Hahn.
Yep.
Who is hopefully a future recurring guest on the show.
On the Foreplay podcast?
Yeah, we think he's down the pipeline. He had to hole it on his 72nd hole to get into a playoff, about as close as you could possibly come.
If you watch the replay and if you watch the tournament, you know what I'm talking about. That's as close as you can get without it going in. Even when it's about 5 inches away, it looks like it's going dead in the center of the cup, and then it just lips a little.
Perfect pace. Like it looked like a really good putt.
It did.
And then it was great too because he did the thing where they had the big screen way to the left of the green.
Mm-hmm.
So he hits like a wedge in there, something that he spun back, and then you could see his eyes look left to the screen because he wanted to actually like watch it roll, and gave like, oh my god, I can't believe that didn't go in. So we had a lot of drama down.
Another cool part of the
stretch.
coverage, they showed, which I don't know if they've ever done this before. I've never seen it. It was so close that they showed Han's reaction. Obviously, he was, devastated a little bit. Then they showed Faldo and Nance in the booth watching, and they like lost their shit too. It was very cool.
Yeah, so it was a good dramatic finish. Horschel. What do you want me to say? I don't love the guy. We've read a handful of stories on this very show, which you should go subscribe to if you haven't already, and download and leave a 5-star review on.
Thank you.
That he's just been kind of a dick to people. It really started at Chambers Bay for me in 2015 when he was a dick to the greens, to the golf course,
as soon as
to
you say
people
that,
afterwards.
I can just see him doing
his little snake wiggle bump
Yeah.
motion thing. He even did it this weekend, I think on Saturday, where he like threw a club.
Oh yeah, he made a bad bogey and he threw it and it looked like it hit his caddy. It was
He's
a bad
done
look.
that, so I'm just not a huge Billy Horschel fan. there was some news that came out today from his wife.
Brittany Horschel, she tweeted, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but or just the first part of her tweet is, I would like to share why yesterday's win had some extra emotions for her hubby, Billy Horschel. He did tear up after he won. She goes on to say that basically the last year she was an alcoholic. She's been in treatment. She's doing well. She's been sober. I believe the year anniversary of her sobriety was like this weekend or something like that. So obviously, that's more serious matter than our hate for Billy Horschel.
Let's call a spade a spade.
Yeah,
really tough for Riggsy to shit on Billy Horschel when this kind of stuff comes out. So
we're glad she's doing well.
Yep.
We're glad everybody's healthy. It just kind of cuts the legs out from under Riggs' hate.
The
for Billy.
rant that I could have gone on, that I'm not going to because I'm a nice guy.
Yep.
Shout out to me. To give our guy Capfather a little credit, it's really, really pretty much impossible to pick golf winners.
Capfather, I have not heard that name in years.
Because if you look at this, Billy Horschel went miscut, 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 wins. Siwoo Kim, the week before at the Players' Championship, he had gone miscut, miscut, T22nd, miscut, win.
It's a crazy game, this golf.
It's nuts. So you can't predict that shit. The fact that our guy Capfather, R.I.P., I think, is he still out there? Occasionally, what he does on social media is he shows a lot of support for me, and I think he hates Trent.
He does hate me, which is fine. I think I hate him now, and he's always had the contact with you, so I don't give a shit about Capfather. He was hot at the beginning.
Well, you're not a gambler either.
I'm not a gambler.
So I've been kind of riding and dying with Capfather.
Yeah, so I don't give a shit about Capfather, and if he's not producing for our listeners, then I don't give a shit about him.
Fair. All of this Billy Horschel stuff has gotten on a couple of people's radar. Is there a foreplay reverse curse going on type situation?
So let's lay out the facts.
The facts are that
I don't like. Let's start here. I don't like Sergio Garcia,
and I didn't for a long time, but I do now.
Yeah, you're a piece of shit for that. Okay. And so everybody hated Sergio. We hated Sergio. I made it known on this podcast. He goes and finally breaks through at a little tournament called the Masters.
Wins the Masters. Then Ian Poulter, who we were having the golf podcast boys joyride of our life, shitting on him while he's losing his card. Turns out he doesn't.
I got to tell you, I didn't even think about that part. We were dancing on a guy's grave who statistically, by numbers, that's math, that's what stats are, said that he was losing his PGA Tour card. We obviously had a huge party. And then a week later it comes out, who figured out? Brian Gay.
Brian Gay, by the way, little teaser. We got Kip Henley, the caddy for a long time for Brian Gay, on later on the podcast, who is electric.
Kip Henley was great, and he made Brian Gay sounds like a good guy, so I can't fault him for anything, except he did find the points discrepancy and got Poulter his card back. So, whatever. That's crazy that Poulter, and then at the Players' Championship, he almost wins the fucking thing.
Almost wins the damn thing. Ties for second, makes like $1 million almost. So then now this week, we got Billy fucking Horschel, who I've shit on a million times. I think 2 weeks ago I told a real fun story about the Arnold Palmer Invitational that made him look like an asshole. Now he wins.
Yep.
So
We're going to try and put this in the right direction. We're going to try and use our powers for good. Fuck Tiger Woods.
Fuck Tiger Woods. There's no way he ever wins again. He's a total asshole.
He's a piece of shit scumbag who cheated on his wife. Disgusting behavior from him. Having hookers and Perkins waitresses piss on him. Come on, man. Be better than that.
Apparently doesn't tip well. Just not a great guy. So fuck Tiger Woods. We're anti-Tiger.
Hate the guy. Couldn't be worse. I hope he never recovers. I hope he never comes back.
So great to see a guy with a nagging back injury. It's awesome. It's really great and awesome. It really.
Thank God his body's falling apart.
Yeah, it feels good. He deserves it. So yeah, fuck Tiger. Anyways, on a more positive note, we have now got our first interview with a looper.
Yeah, we've been wanting to get a caddy on for a while. We've had everybody from every part of golf. We've had players, we've had analysts, we've had this, we've had that. We have not had a caddy, and we've wanted one for a long time. We got a great one in Kip Henley.
I've been following this guy for a while on Twitter. He's kind of Twitter famous a little bit. He's very funny follow. Seemed like a really good dude. So we had him on. Here is quite a few. We spent 30 or 40 minutes.
I think this was our longest interview yet.
Probably our longest interview yet. We didn't want to stop talking. He's got a lot of very interesting insight. Kip Henley.
Enjoy. This interview with the legend that is Kip Henley is brought to you by our friends at Shipsticks. Guys, if you aren't already using Shipsticks when you travel for your golf trips, you're already starting a couple over. You've probably seen their ads on the Golf Channel and CNBC. Shipsticks picks up your clubs from home, the golf course, the office, or the hotel, whatever is most convenient, and delivers them directly to wherever you're staying or playing. Instead of lugging them to and from the airport and wasting your time at baggage claim, use ShipSticks to ship them ahead of time, and your clubs will be waiting for you when you arrive. I believe my friend Riggs, who is a big golf trip guy, has used this on multiple occasions.
Yep, I've been on several golf trips over the last couple months, and I've used ShipSticks every time, and they are flawless and a no-brainer.
Love it. As the largest golf shipping company in the world, their prices are the lowest, starting at $39.99, which by itself is cheaper than most airline check bag fees. Pretty great combo. You can eliminate the hassle of traveling with your clubs while saving time and money. All you have to do is go to shipsticks.com. That's ShipSticks.com. Click ship now and you'll be on your way to hassle-free golf trip. Enter the promo code BARSTOOL, that's BARSTOOL, for 10% off your next shipment. Once again, that's shipsticks.com, promo code BARSTOOL for 10% off your next shipment. Use ShipSticks.
All right, we are joined now by PGA Tour kind of veteran caddy at this point for over a decade, Kip Henley, who's also become a little bit of Twitter famous. Kip, how's it going?
What's up, boys?
Where are you at right now?
Actually, I just been to the Home Depot for the warden. She sent me up there to try and find patio furniture. So, just sitting here on the side of the road now, so pull over so I don't lose coverage up here in the sticks.
I'm
in Chattanooga.
Yeah, you're a Chattanooga guy, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, we kind of mentioned it a little bit, but you've garnered a little bit of a following on Twitter and all that lately. I've been following you for a while now, and we've had a lot of different people on. We never had a looper. We always get people being like, "You guys got to get the caddy perspective. You got to get the caddy perspective."
There, you guys are finally going to stop beating us caddies down like everybody else. You're going to break the mode and cave and let a caddy come on and do the show.
So, you've been a caddy for a while, but you kind of, you started out as a hell of a player over there in Tennessee.
Yeah, I did. Well, I wouldn't call myself a hell of a player. I mean, in days I was a hell of a player, but I never was a hell of a player for like much longer than a week or two, So,
you're real streaky out there?
Oh, very streaky. I tried with both hands for 100 years just to become a player. And, I mean, I got close a few times and knocked off a few trophies here and there, but just never could pull up that last little bit to get me on tour. That was my life's goal. So I say my golf career is a failure. People laugh when I say that, but it was my only mission, and I failed to get there. But so that's the way it works. But now, so I help other guys meet their goals.
Well, yeah, you've been out there looping for a while now. You got real close. What's the difference kind of watching these guys being out there on tour all the time? What's the difference between what they got and what you got?
It never was. It never was physical. I mean, I could hit it as far as. I mean, when I played full time, I'd have been in the top 15 or 20% of the long guys, maybe 10%. I could bust it, even though I was short. And my short game was crazy good. And I mean, I wedged it like Brian Gay almost. But I think it was just the mental aspects of the game. I just didn't have enough. I don't know. I'm not going to say meanness because I really enjoyed beating the crap out of people in golf tournaments, but I just didn't have enough. I just didn't have enough of the I don't give a crap mentality of what anyone thinks of me. I think I always thought I worried too much about what everyone thought. And looking back, I think that was the biggest hole in my game. I'll ask God someday, and He'll tell me.
So eventually, you make the decision. All right, I've gotten so close, but I'm not going to be a tour pro. I'm going to be a pro caddy. What was that? What was kind of making that call like?
Just the sheer necessity. I had to have food. I mean, for my family, I put me and the wife in financial distress 1,000 times trying to play. I mean, at one point I had where I walked away from my great club pro job. I spent my entire retirement, which was only like 70 or 80 grand. And then I'd put us another about 80 grand in credit card debt on top of that. And so, I mean, and all through the years, even if I got 3,000 or 4,000 ahead of money, I would send it into tour school every year, even though I was club pro. And I would go try tour school. I'd take a couple weeks vacation out of the shop and go get my ass handed to me. Then I'd go back to the pro shop. And I did that for years and years, just trying to get out there. But as I kept playing and I kept doing mini tours and stuff, my buddies would make it here and there. My friends would make it to the tour, like Garrett Willis and other guys, and they would ask me to caddy here and there as I would fail, and I would go, no, I'm going to be a player. I'm not going to caddy. And then I ended up doing it once or twice just to help a brother out, and then it got to where I didn't have my club pro job anymore. I didn't have any money anymore, and I had to do something. And my little brother, in fact, I came through my little brother. He was with Woody Austin for 10 years, and he's been with Garrigus 5, and he's had a hell of a run out there, man. He's got cash to boot. So that's kind of how I fell into it, just out of sheer necessity. People ask me, Kip, how do you become a caddy on the PGA Tour? I say, fail at everything else in your life. That's how I did it.
Well, dude, it's got to be hard as hell to go play golf out there, with your livelihood on the line when you put all that financial stress on yourself. How the hell are you going to try to play out there like that?
I even had backers at one point. I raised like $60,000 maybe even $70,000 for guys that just believed in me and bought shares in me and sent me out there. So, I had backing at one point, and I've never had anything but backing from the boss. The wife, she's always said, "Man, go do it. You can do that. That's your destiny." Even when I was just killing us financially, she never said, "Kip, give it up, man. Just give up." She never said it one time. I had the support, and at one point I had the cash. I didn't have endless cash. I think that would have helped me too, but I just didn't. I think the tour players, man, they have a way to compartmentalize that immense pressure and put things aside and just play the game, and I don't think I could ever do that. I always had the handlebars on it, and I play practice round and have 9 birdies, and the flag would go up, and I'd shoot it straight in the bushes.
I think I know the answer to this, but do you have any regrets about keeping trying after putting all that money into it, or are you glad you had to go through that?
They say, the old saying, boys, it's not the destination, it's the journey. I had a hell of a journey. We homeschooled our girls in 2000 when they were like 9 and 10, and we played a whole year on the Hooters Tour after I dropped my club pro job. And I walked away from a hell of a club pro job. I wasn't making tons of cash, but I had lots of time. I was playing in section events and whomping them pretty regular in that and supplementing my income. I could give lessons, but we had that chance to go play in 2000, and my girls to this day, they're 26 and 27. They still say that's the funnest year of their life. We traveled around in a van, and I had all the weekends off because I was jacking all the cuts. So we're going to every water park in the country and just having a ball in every beach. So it's been a hell of a ride, but it just couldn't get that last little spot. It stings, but I got the second best job in the world, boys.
Kip, if you're recruiting, I think you said bikers to invest in you, you must be fucking lethal at the bar. You must be the most convincing guy at the bar in the whole world.
Dude, I'm such. You don't speak Chattanoogan. You don't speak Kipbonics. I said backers. I just talk like an idiot. It's backers, not a biker.
That would have been impressive as hell if you got bikers supporting your tour career.
I might have done better. I could have been a bigger asshole to people and stuff, and had the backer bikers backing me.
So, what was the most challenging part of transitioning from a player, a grinding, trying to make it as a tour player, to a caddy, and you're helping another guy out?
It's the same situation. It's the same thing that the players, and most players, if they're worth their weight in salt, it's being gone. That was the biggest thing. But actually giving up the fight and going, it stung a little bit, on the range where I'd see people that were better at golf than me I would look at them and I'd go, holy hell, are you saying I can't beat that guy? Look at this guy's action, how bad it is. Look how bad he putts. Good God, I'd beat this guy's brains in if he came to Tennessee, but yet he's on TV and making millions. That part stung a little bit, but it was more just the being gone from my family, man, and travel. But, besides that, my job is the coolest. I get the greatest office in the world, and the only guy with a better job, in my opinion, is the guy I hand the clubs to.
Yeah, I feel like, if you're gonna be a pro caddy and that's your life, and you mentioned the travel, you're away from your family all the time, you gotta love golf.
You really do. You got to do it, and you got to have. The divorce rate on tour and caddy, the caddy ranks is, I don't know what the national average is, but I guarantee you double it on the PGA Tour and the caddy ranks, because it's just so, you got to have a strong woman sitting at home, man, willing to do that and let you go. And you know, she's alone. She's got to do all the handiwork around home and stuff, and you just come in for a week and you just want to sit there because you've been doing nothing but go, go, go. It takes a strong, strong woman to let you do this, man. So luckily, as in July 11th, I'll have 30 years in the barrel. So
oh, wow.
Strong
Congratulations.
woman. Yeah, very proud of that.
Hey, your wife wrote that thing about a year and a half ago. It seems like you got a good one at home, Kip.
Wasn't that the coolest thing that anybody's ever written? I mean, that made USA Today and everything. I mean, she was a stay-at-home mom for years, taking care of the babies, and now she never went to college one day, and now she's the financial what is it? Oh, I don't even know her title. It's the Mercedes dealer in here, and I mean, she's just killing it. She keeps us above water more than I do now. It's awesome.
Does she ever give whoever you're caddying for the needle a little bit? Like, hey, let's go. Let's win some fucking cash here?
She says it to me. And I'm like, oh, my God. You know, I'll get a text. I'll come off the course like, well, double 18. It'll cost my man $40,000. It cost me, you know, $4 or $5,000. She'll go, what the hell was that and stuff? But never to the person, because she knows, same as me. You know, I've never, ever gotten pissed at my player, ever. I mean, I spent 10 years with Brian Gay, and I got mad at him twice in 10 years. And one time it's because he wouldn't take his socks and shoes off and get in the water and whack a ball out that I knew he could hit down the fairway because he didn't want to get dirty. He's a pretty clean guy. And the other time was not shooting at a pin that was back right with a big, huge wind out of the right. The pin was sitting next to the hazard. And but at that point, we were still in the game. It was like our 16th hole in Mexico. And it was a back right pin. And I said, BG, you got to shoot at this pin. He goes, that would be the dumbest thing I've ever tried in my life. He goes, it's like 40-mile-an-hour wind out of the right. The pin's on the right. I'd have to send it 30 yards out in the hazard. And he's kind of protecting his money. And I thought the door was still open for us to win. And, I mean, that's the only 2 times we ever battled. And they've won about the socks coming off. That was just more for fun. But I really did get pissed at him that one. But he is just such a smart player. For me to argue course management decisions with Brian Gay, that would be like me telling, I don't know, Robert Redford how to act.
So after something like that, you're kind of getting into it. He doesn't do what you want. Do you kind of like snub him out there? Or are you just real quiet, like an old married couple?
No, after he hit the shot to the middle of the green and 2-putted and got out there, and we made a nice check. You know, and if I would have talked him into sending it out over the hazard and letting the wind blow it back in, and he hit it close and missed it or something, whatever, if he could have had 100 on the hole. But, you know, after he hit the shot in the middle of the green, I picked the bag up and I actually pointed to him. I said, you ever do that to me again, I'll quit you. You know, I was pissed because I was still trying to win. I was trying to win the golf tournament. But if you spend 10 years with a guy on the golf course, out there chasing his dream with him and stuff, and you only get upset at him twice, you've got a hell of a guy you're working for, because it's easy to get pissed at each other out there because there's so much pressure and so much decision-making to do. And, you know, I should have done this, I should have listened, or I shouldn't listen. If the people knew at home the battles that we go through out there from time to time, it would make golf way more interesting. You wouldn't be sleeping watching the golf coverage.
So we've talked about, you know, your time with Brian Gay quite a bit already. We're going to get into it a little bit more. I think a lot of our listeners are really interested into the whole process of, you know, a caddy and a player hooking up. Too often, all we hear about is the separation, the firing. We hear even about Lydia Ko now, who's been through like a million caddies. She's like 15. How did you get, you know, hooked up with Brian Gay? How does that whole process work out?
That Lydia Ko, she's changing caddies like underwear, isn't she? Man, she must be a tough one.
She's got to be.
Brian Gay, I was caddying for Garrett Willis as a favor years ago at Reno, and we played a practice round with a guy named Brian Gay. But you know what? I knew Brian Gay. I knew his college career because where I was the club pro, the SEC championship came to that golf course when I was a club pro 100 years ago, and a little dude named Brian Gay with his hair sticking out over his visor and rocking sunglasses, he won the SEC there. So I knew of him. He didn't know of me. And get this, even on top of that, a few years later, you know, I qualified through the section, the fat guy way, into a tour event. I made it into the Memphis tournament, and I played in that like 6 or 7 times. But the very first time I played in it, I got paired with a guy. It might have been my second time playing, but I got paired with a guy named Brian Gay and Doug Dunneke, 2 guys named Doug Dunneke and Brian Gay. And so, fast forward 6, 8 years later, I'm caddy for Garrett Wilson. We get paired with Brian in a practice round. I kind of know him. He doesn't know me, and we talk. Well, he knows of me a little bit. So I said, hey, BG, did you know I played with you in Memphis? He goes, nope, me and you never played together. I go, you're crazy. I wouldn't forget. So that's how I met Brian Gay, and his caddy had some trouble at the time and was going home wanting time away. I was working for Eric Axley, a Tennessee boy. I just committed to a caddy. I just finally said, I'm caddying. And I'd worked like 7 or 8 events for Eric Axley, who had got his tour card. And we were doing well. We were trending up, and then Brian Gay's bag came open, and Brian had already secured his card for the following year. And I told Axe, sorry, bud, or this might make you sad. It probably make you happy, but I'm moving on. I'm going to Brian Gay. His car's locked up for next year. And so I jumped ship, and Axe got kind of chafed up at me, but chafed up enough to where the following week was San Antonio. After I quit Axe and go to Brian Gay, Brian Gay's not playing. The course doesn't suit him, so I'm sitting at home, and guess who wins first place in the daggum San Antonio?
Oh, your old boy.
Yeah, and at that time, I'd only caddied on tour for like eight tournaments. I mean, I was so broke I couldn't pay attention. I had no money, and then watch Axe win like $750,000 that following week. My wife wanted to kill me, but as it turned out, it was a hell of a move. BG's done plenty good since then. I've had some great runs with BG.
Yeah,
have I told any Brian Gay stories yet?
No, that's what we got you here for. Plenty of BG stories. So you guys, you had some wins. What was the biggest moment, biggest single shot, most nervous you were on the bag for BG?
Holy cow! I never thought about it. It was all. I guess once we made in the playoff at the Bob Hope, his last win. We were on the Palmer course in the tournament. The course where that damn Duval shot 59 and won that course, and we ended up in a playoff with Lingmerth and Charles Howell III, who's one of my favorite guys on the PJ Tour. We ended up in a playoff of that. And the first playoff hole is 18. It's a little dog, the one over the water, and it was a good win, so Brian Gay could get there every day. So that wasn't that big a deal. So Lingmerth hit it out in the lake, and us and Charlie both made birdie. And then when we were going down 18, I said, if we don't, I talked to like Slugger White or whoever was the rules official. I go, where are we going next if this hole is pushed? And they go straight over to 1T. And I went, oh, crap, that's no good. Brian Gay's never made it through there without hitting the water at least once during the tournament. And so, he's got $1,080,000 on the line, and we tie 18. So me and Charlie go over the number one. There's no left rough. It's just aqua all the way down the left side. And I'm standing on. That's the most nervous I've ever been. And BG hit a bullet right down the right center with a tiny draw, and it was hauling ass. And he hit a wedge like 8 feet against Charlie. Charlie missed the green, and BG buried the birdie putt for me to get another flag. That was a cool time. That was the most nervous I've ever been, sitting there watching one shot, because I knew he was thinking in the back of his mind, man, I've hit it in that lake like every other time I play this hole.
So let's compare that to times when, he's won by 10 strokes, he's won by 5 strokes before. What is it on those weeks? Do you get a sense those types of weeks from whether it's the range, practice rounds, whatever, like nobody can beat him this week?
I've seen him on top of this. He won his first tournament was Mexico, and he won that by 3 shots. Can y'all hear that beeping? The wife is driving. She's trying to get through on this. I'm going to kill her.
I don't think we can hear anything on our end.
Good. So our first win was Mexico, and he won that by 3 shots. And then our next win was Hilton Head. And going into the week, it was nothing special. I knew the course was beautiful for BG. The golf course fits him perfect. It fits everybody. It's the best golf course on the PGA Tour, in my opinion, Harbor Town. But after about Thursday or Friday, it was on. The boys playing so good, and he played Saturday. It was so good. And we were walking to the tee Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon with a tee time, and we're playing whoever. And so I stopped him, and I very seldom ever give him pep talks. And I said, BG, stop. We're walking to the tee from the practice range, and I said, stop, look me in the eye. And he said, what? Looked at me like, you're weird. And I go, dude, if you play with just pure, you see your shot and you just swing with, just commit 100% to all 18 holes a day, we're going to win this thing by 8 or 10 shots. Promise. Just commit to every shot. You're playing too damn good. And he won by 10 shots. It was, he went out birdie, eagle, like birdie. So we went from 3 ahead to 7 ahead, and he just kept the pedal mashed down the whole time. And I did till the very end when you just can't kill yourself coming in. But I made him play conservative off 16 and 18, and he was laughing at me, but he listened to me, and he got it done. It was a hell of a time.
You got to lock up that paycheck.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, we had at the time we had an 8 or 9 shot lead, and if you're caddying, I mean, you just never ever. Even if, I don't care who these guys are. If they say they're comfortable once the guy hit it on the green, I'm not comfortable until that scorecard sign and they walk out. I mean, I'm thinking about, well, he could hit his foot here, he could drop his coin, move his ball, he could have a zillion ways to screw it up. I'm 100. I don't let the guard down until he walks out of that scoring tent. That's the way I do it. But
so to get into a little bit more general caddy type stuff, what's the process like? Arrival on site. Let's say you're going to a stop that maybe you've been to once or twice before. When do you kind of get in? Are you going there before your guy? Are you kind of walking the course, studying the course, changes? What's that whole process like?
Well, we'll know in advance if there's changes involved on the golf course, and if we've been there, I'm not getting in there early, and I'm not walking around the golf course. I just think that's busy work. I've been, I know Harbor Town like the back of my hand. I know Memphis like the back of my hand. Every course we go to. Now, if I don't know the golf course, if it's any way possible for me to beat my guy in, and I'm beating him in there, and I'm going to go out and walk around the golf course. But there's a lot of caddies that go and walk off the greens and shoot the yard. I mean, we have a yardage book, boys, that has it within a yard of everything you need to know. I mean, you could play a PGA Tour course blind, and it might bite you once or twice the first time you play it. But if I don't know the golf course at all, I'm going to walk out and I'm going to walk the greens mostly. I'm going to pay attention to the dog legs and run outs, but that's all in the book. But I'm going to walk around the greens and see where you just don't screw up. And and we're going to shoot away from those spots. But actually, preparation, I don't know if you just call me lazy or sensible or what, but there's probably other caddies that the real golf nerds would rather speak to on course preparation, because I'm not that guy.
I was going to say
150 yards. What?
I was going to say, it sounds like those other caddies are doing it just to make it look like they're doing actual work.
Yeah, and they want everybody to see them. I think it's crap. 150 yards here in Chattanooga will play like 150 yards at Hilton Head. That's the way I look at it. If a guy can hit up 800, 150 yards here, he's going to be able to hit it there. Now, we go sometimes where elevation's involved. We have to do a lot more math. But, I put out a tweet long ago when we were at Reno, and the casual golfer at home thinks he could caddy on the PGA Tour. If he went to Reno, he wouldn't last a half a hole.
What? Just
because of the elevation.
Right. It's just you got to know that shit.
Oh my God, it's so confusing. I mean, if you say for instance you're on 15 or number 6 at Reno and it's downhill and you're like 160 there, so the ball flies 10% further there, so that's like 16 yards less at home. You could hit the ball. So I mean, there's so much math involved with stuff.
You almost
I'm
got
gonna kill my wife. The warden is killing me, boy. Sorry. I'll just have to let her suffer 10 more minutes.
So it feels like you got to bring the calculator out there.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah. Luckily, it's the wife and not the mistress.
Maybe she thinks I got something going on with the patio lawn furniture chick at Home Depot or something. I guess I don't know what she thinks I'm doing.
So
that's where I've been.
What's the nightlife with the caddy crew like on tour?
Boys, in the old days, and kind of when I got out there about 11 years ago, it was a lot more intense. And there's still a few of the hanger owners, and you'll see occasionally the guy that missed the cut, the caddy goes crazy. But there's so much cash involved now, boys. It's more of a daggum. I mean, these young guys coming out, they don't do anything. They're in the gym. They're eating like granola bars and crap like that. I still hang out, but I mean, I'm old. I got to shut her down, or I can't make it all 18 the next day. So I've had my share of stay out late, but only on missed cuts or 2:00 tee times or something like that. Then I'm going to hang out for a little bit. But there's too much money now. The guys just don't do it anymore, boys. The caddy stores are dying. They're dying fast. Trust me. There's CPAs and smart guys out there caddying now. It's crazy because the money can be so good. But
what a shame.
Saying that, there's still it is a lot. That is a shame because the stores are dying. But the money's so good now. Guys are they're too smart about it.
So what do you think your most important job is out there inside the ropes?
Past. And it ties all back into the same thing, guys. A little bit of course management, and rules and things like that, and reading greens. But easily the most important thing a caddy is going to do is the psychology of the game, and he has to learn. Even the old guys that hung around forever on the tour caddy, I guarantee you they could run their own psychology couch thing. They could be psychologists and get paid for it. No one would ever know because they understand human nature. You have to understand what makes the guy tick. How do you get in his head and build confidence? How do you get in his head without letting him know you're trying to get in his head? It is an absolute mental jousting out there with your guy, and you have to be good at it. You got to know when to talk, when to shut up, and when you open your mouth, what to say. And if he's a tough guy and he's looking for an out to a missed shot or a bad day, and you say the wrong thing, you're a dead man. So it's easily the psychology of the game. And being a former, not a tour player, but a former player, and played in one of my share tournaments, I kind of feel like I have a good idea what a guy needs to hear when his hands are sweating and his heart's pounding through his dadgum Ashworth shirt. So I think I can help him on the stuff like that.
Yeah, how much, how important is it, or how much do you feel like a good caddy is really good buddies, good friends, good pals with his guy?
The perfect scenario. If you got a player, and you see these relationships, guys. If you see like James Edmondson and dadgummit, Ryan Palmer. You see their relationship, and you see guys like Bones and Mickelson, and I mean these guys are in it together. And you see, and that's the most beautiful thing you've ever seen. And me and BG had that for years and years. We were in it together, But if a guy will bring you in and let you be a part of the team, there is so special out there. But you have the other guys. You have a handful of really successful guys that can't stand caddies. They have you there because the tour makes them have you there. They would carry the bag or a cart if they could, but they have to have you. And they don't want any information. They don't want any interaction, and they're kind of mean to their guy. That part, those caddies, that sucks, that part. But like I said, if you have a guy to bring you in and you two are trying to chase the thing down together, it's a beautiful thing when you get it done.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you're out there alone and you don't want a guy on your side, your boy, holding your clubs, you sound like you got a big old dump in your pants.
That's right. It's like caddies are like underwear. When something goes wrong, you change them, man. So,
so let's talk a little bit about this year. We know you got the wife calling. We don't want to keep you too long. This year you're on the bag a little bit for VJ. VJ is obviously a legend. Kind of what was that transition like? Getting on the bag for such a big name like VJ.
So incredible. I mean, parts of it were very, very incredible. I mean, just like you would think when you're caddying for a Hall of Famer guy. Just won more tournaments than Lee Trevino on the PGA Tour. I mean, this guy is a badass to the bone. Now, I knew when I signed on a couple of things. I knew that his practice schedule was going to be rigorous. I knew I was going to be out there on the ride. I had to have a lot of sunscreen. And I knew he was a tough guy going into it. I knew he didn't suffer a fool. I knew that he didn't let, people don't get to get in the VJ circle unless you get lucky. You're not getting in the circle unless you have a gift of gab or something. But he's really, he's hesitant. He's been nailed a bunch of times by the press. And he's been nailed by, players and caddies, so he really keeps his circle tight. And if you get in that, it's kind of a cool thing. But the one thing that me and VJ just did, and it kind of made me sad, I ended up quitting VJ after TPC. And I told him, I said, VJ, man, I love you. I love working for you. It's incredible. But I'm just not tough enough to be your guy, because besides he's demanding, he'll take a lot of swings at you during the day, and I get my feelings hurt, If it's in good nature and it's, and it's not personal and it's fine, I can take it. It's part of what caddies do, but I don't know. He was just kind of hard on me, and I made good money, and I learned a lot, and I don't think he hates my guts. I'm not sure, but I think we're still boys, and maybe I'll work for him again someday. But even saying that, I had VJ, and he's going to be he's going to make somebody a pot full of cash. But I still, guys, I got like maybe 6, 7, 10 years max of great caddying left. I want a young stud that's ready to win every golf tournament and make the Ryder Cups and win majors. I want to be a part of that so bad. That's not anywhere on my resume. I've been a successful tour caddy, but I have no majors. I have no Ryder Cups. I have no President's Cups. That's what I want.
So that was going to be my next question is what's, how much of, because you're in between right now, how much of the process of trying to figure out who you want to go loop for is, do you ever consider, I'm going to take a gamble on one of these real young guys and try to get in with a stud who's just starting out?
I think about it all the time, and you'll have an occasional agent say, Kip, if you'll go down to the web dot and bring this guy up, you're going to be a bajillionaire someday. But it's such a risk that you do, and you're just going to be eating peanut butter sandwiches for a year if you do that, to go down there and come up with a guy. Now, obviously, I'd like for him to come off that tour and rinse the guy he had and then take me immediately on the PJ Tour. That's the perfect scenario. But that ain't very good for the caddy there. But I would never cut the legs out from a guy that's coming off the web tour like that. But most of those guys won't. They bounce around caddies anyway out there because it's so financially stressful to have your own guy and pay him so much every week. They don't make enough cash. So they're usually looking for one of the guys. But you say pick, it's not so much that. I quit VJ, 7, 8 days ago now, and all I'm doing, boy, is staring at the phone. My phone hadn't rang yet. So it's not like I got my choice. It's going to have to be, my name is not established as one of the really, if I would have caddied for VJ in his day when he won all the majors, my phone would be ringing off the hook now. Or if I caddied for Mickelson or Tiger, your phone would ring off. But I just don't have that reputation that some of the caddies have. I get calls, and I've turned down 1 or 2 smaller bags since then, but I could have gone to the LPGA, and I've had a couple little calls, but I haven't had a call that's got me fired up yet. So I'm sitting waiting.
You just hold out for Lydia Ko.
She'll sooner or later she's going to get to you guys too. All of us going to have a shot to caddy for that chick.
How much do you think it's luck plays in? Some of these caddies, some of these guys just getting on the bag for the right guy, right time.
Brilliant question. I've always put that analogy out there. If you're a caddy and there's 2 out, you're an out-of-work caddy and your buddy's an out-of-work caddy, and you guys are working the lot or whatever you call working the lot, where you show up to PGA Tour and just kind of wave at guys when they get the clubs out and just make sure hey, there's Kip standing over there without a bag, If you're doing that, and say you're standing on the putting green and a guy makes it through Monday qualifying, he walks up, he's had an idiot carrying for him at the Monday qualifying, so he comes out looking, and you're standing on this side of the putting green, and your buddy's standing on that side, and that guy got out of the parking lot on that side and walked up to the thing and goes, hey, are you a tour caddy? Yeah, I'll caddy for you. You might stumble onto a $10 million a year bag. You never, because I was standing on the wrong side of the putting green. It's a lot of pot luck to a point. Once the guys are established, then you'll get phone calls, and I'll probably end up getting a phone call soon. But it can be pot luck like that. Guys have stumbled onto that, and you see a guy who caddy for a year. I know 2 or 3, I won't say names, that just had, that were caddy for years. No one wanted them. They didn't have a reputation as being one of the best caddies. And they went down to the web.com for 1 or 2 events and got a guy and brought him up and won. And then they ended up being considered one of the great caddies when they really don't know the difference from the ass and a hole in the ground. But they wound up with a great guy, and so people immediately think they're a great caddy when they're just not. But there's a guy, I think he's Derail, we call him. He used to bug me on Twitter all the time. Kip, I want to be a tour caddy. How'd I do it? Like I say, get in line or whatever. Everybody's wanting to know. And he said, what do I do? And he kept bugging me. And he said, what do I do? How do I do it? And I said, really, Derail, the best thing for you to do is, it's not a great. I said, go to the web tour, work the parking lot, get a guy, find a guy, bounce around, find a stud, and come up with him. Well, he came up. He did exactly that. He came up with Mackenzie Hughes, and they've already notched a win this year. So that guy is a huge success story, and I'm not taking credit for it because he's a hard-working dude, but just he did exactly what I told him to do.
I think you deserve a little credit.
Yeah, you can take a little credit there, Kip.
I told him how to do it, and he did it. Now he's smashing my head in. I love it. He's a good dude, too.
Oh, this quick, rare break in the Kip Henley interview is brought to you by our friends at Chef's Cut. Chef's Cut Real Jerky is phenomenal. This is even part of the ad read script right here. I just want to talk about how absolutely delicious it is. Trent loves it.
I want to talk about how they gave us a box of the stuff and it was gone in about 2 days here at the office.
Our guy Caleb is maybe the biggest Chef's Cut Real Jerky fan on planet Earth. It's absolutely delicious. I put it in my golf bag. I put 2 bags in my golf bag 2 or 3 weeks ago. Pulled them out every time I've golfed. They're gone now because everybody in the group's like, oh, let me get a quick bite of that. That's so delicious. Where'd you get it? Boom, gone. It's that good. Chef's Cut Real Jerky is the only jerky brand out there that is founded by a real chef, Chef Blair Swiler. Not only that, it is also the only real jerky brand that started on the golf course. Co-founder Dennis Rydell met Chef Blair while caddying at Calusa Pines, tried his homemade jerky, convinced him to start smoking and selling that jerky to courses across the U.S., premium golf clubs from Bel Air to Bayonne. I'm playing Bayonne in a couple weeks. We played there about a month ago as well. That's all they talked about. They had the Chef's Cut jerky everywhere. Everybody raves about it. It's that good. Today, PGA Tour golfers like Kyle Reifers, Ryan Brehm fill up their golf bags with Chef's Cut. Reifers loved the brand so much that he reached out to the brand himself, became their first athletic partner and investor. Bottom line, this stuff's unbelievably good. They are doing a great deal with us. If you go to their website, you get a little deal, a little discount code BARSTOOL10. That's BARSTOOL 10. Go to their website. That's chefscutrealjerky.com. Chefscutrealjerky.com. Promo code BARSTOOL10. Go ahead, take the chef with you. I got a quick question I just thought of. How annoying inside the ropes really are camera clicks? Because we see Tiger lose his mind about it all the time.
Pretty annoying. Even, boys, when you go to the Masters, you're allowed, I think they let them take pictures in the practice rounds of Augusta, don't they?
Yeah, it's just, not with your phone, but you can bring in a camera and take pictures just during the practice.
Even there, it's disconcerting because it happens when it's quiet. You're just not, if there's a tent full of drunk people up there and it's constant chatter, you can deal with it unless some asshole goes or something or screams out and your backswing or something or they drop it. But the camera is it'll really throw you off because it clicks at the top or clicks somewhere and you're just not expecting it. And so I'm not one of these guys. I see a lot of these big caddies that'll just tell everybody put the phone down as you walk up on the tee. Usually people are smart enough, and I see them taking pictures, and sometimes they're they're taking video. I don't give a crap. You know how to turn your phone on and off, make sure it doesn't ring. I'm not telling anybody to put their phone down unless they're being obnoxious or something. Because if you look around now, everybody's got their cell phone out now at tour events. It's crazy. So
yeah, it's a lot different.
It's not some idiot.
Right. All right, last thing. We're going to have our guy Trent's going to run through a little rapid fire, just a handful of quick questions.
Oh, my God. This is when I can really step on my penis on these
yes,
things.
That's the expectation.
Yep, that's exactly what we're looking for.
This first question actually works nicely with what we were just talking about. What's the meanest thing you've ever said to a person in the gallery?
Would you guys shut up? First place is $1 million. I actually said that in front of 3 drunk guys in front of Brian Gay. We were he'd hit it off in the bushes, and we had to park the gallery, and there's 3 drunk guys standing behind it, and they're chatting. I go, hey, everybody stand still and please be quiet. And, I mean, we're up there at this time. We're not in first place, but we're chasing the leaders down. And that was one of the beauties of having Brian Gay. I said, would y'all be quiet? And they kept talking. I said, would y'all shut up? First place is $1 million. Like that, I scream out.
It's true.
I didn't say honesty is the best policy in that situation, I think.
Rod said, you're such an idiot. He let me get away with it. Didn't kill me for it. But that's the meanest thing I'm usually not too mean to the fans.
I like that. The next one, have you ever come close to shitting your pants in the middle of a round?
Get this, boys. I have total anal control. I'll wear knock-on polyester, knock-on wood or something. I'll wear white shorts 95% of the time. I don't have any backup shorts. I don't have any backup rain pants. So
that is risky.
Total that is so risky. And I'll have occasional drink at night, so it's very risky. But I have total butt control out there, boys. It's nice. It's one of my qualities that is on my
Jealous.
resume.
You worked me right into my next one. Boxers, briefs, or do you free ball when you're out there caddying?
There's no free balling for me. I get chafed up. Fat guys get chafed up, man. I gotta have. I'm not lubed up, but I'm like there's a little caddy secret. We wear unscented deodorant down there around our tank and stuff, and it'll. But then after that, boxer briefs. You can't have skin touching skin if you're fat and soft like Kip.
You got to have something because chafing is the worst fucking thing in the world.
Oh, I mean, in the old days before I learned about the sheer deodorant down there around your stuff, I can remember getting out. You get out of the, you've turned into pure salt by the time you get to your hotel room, and you get off the elevator and you look down the hallway and you're at the end and you go, I don't think I can get down there. So,
Jesus.
And you walk down you look like John Wayne walking down the hallway.
I like that. What's your favorite alcoholic beverage after a round?
It's Captain and Diet. I should have a daggum. They should pay me. I drink so much of it.
We had a couple captains this weekend, actually. Captain Coke. Good stuff.
Y'all are girly men like me then. I get
Oh, yeah. I don't hide that at all. I drink whatever's delicious.
All right, and then my last one here. Do you have any pre-round superstitions that you stick to, you have to do before any round?
Yeah, I gotta. And it goes back to the question one. If I poop after I get out of the shower, my day is ruined. I can't do it. So, I'll get up 3 hours before my tea. I don't give a crap if we're teeing off at 7:10. I'm getting up at 4:10 because I'm drinking a Diet Coke and I'm working up a bathroom trip before I get in the shower. So that's my only thing. So that's how I wear the white shorts, boys. If you see me in the morning, early tea time, look me in the eye and know I've already pooped at least once. And I pooped before I got in the shower.
Are you a coffee guy at all? Because I feel like that would really help speed up the process.
I'm not a big coffee fan, but I think that would do, and it's probably what I'm going to because all the health guys that are out there on tour, they tell me that the Diet Cokes are killing me and they're bad for you. But I tell them, I started drinking them in '83. I figure I've drunk somewhere about 70,000 Diet Cokes. I've never been to the hospital overnight. I've never had surgery. I've never had a broken bone. The only time I go to the doctor is if I'm bleeding, and I'm cut. So, no. I should do coffee because I think the Diet Coke's making me fat. Fat people drink Diet Coke. Skinny people drink Fat Coke. You can figure it out.
All right, Kip. Well, I think that's all we got. We know the wife's kind of looking for a little call, looking for an update.
She's absolutely, the warden's going to kill me after this. So
we kept you a little longer than we said, but we couldn't help it.
Dude, I could stay another hour and a half. Call me when you run out of smart, cool people. I'll talk to you.
Well, you will definitely be a recurring guest. We really appreciate you taking the time. And anybody out there that's looking for a looper, Kip Henley's the man. Give him a call.
Call me, boys.
All right, man. Thanks a lot. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, Kip.
Hey, it's an honor being on with you, boys. I keep up with y'all stuff. Y'all are top shelf. Thanks, man.
We appreciate it. Take care.
That interview with Kip Henley was brought to you by Driver vs. Driver. Golf Channel's Driver vs. Driver is set to embark on its second season, and they're looking for talented designers to help develop the next great driver along with the experts at Wilson Labs. Think you have what it takes? Submit your ideas at Golf Channel and Wilson Golf at golfchannel.com/driver vs. driver by May 31st, and you could be a contestant on the next season of Driver vs. Driver. The show will follow the journey of aspiring designers as they work their way from concept to reality. Each week, teams will face elimination from the show's panel of expert judges. Contestants will work hand in hand with the Wilson Labs team as they look to conceptualize their groundbreaking ideas. By season's end, one team will see their product brought to life and sold in stores by one of the golf industry's most respected brands, Wilson Golf. Time is running out. Get your entries into the folks at Wilson by May 31st, and you could find yourself on Golf Channel this fall.
Well, Kip Henley is the man.
Yeah, if you learned anything today, it's that Kip Henley is the fucking shit.
I want to talk to just every caddy because I have this thought that, oh, wow, they're all really cool.
There was the part of the interview at the end where he's like, I could talk to you guys for another hour and a half. And part of me wanted to be like, let's just do it.
Okay, let's just put out a 3-hour podcast.
Actually, what we could have done is just stopped recording and been like, all right, Kip, you're still on. Let's keep doing it. But I think if we had gone for another hour and a half, his wife would have literally killed him.
So we had this plan. We were going to go extra long because we knew he was interesting.
Yeah.
And we knew Caddie's going to have a different perspective than we ever had before. But the wife thing, I got nervous.
I did too, because it happened a couple times.
The warden.
I know, and we had just got done talking about how awesome his wife was and how much he like respects her and loves
And
her.
he's like, I'm gonna kill her. She's gonna kill me.
So we're like, I don't want to get Kip in trouble with his wife, but then he's super interesting, so we had to keep him on for as long as we could. But I'm thinking he'll be back. That's not the last you've heard of Kip Henley on this podcast.
One of my sneaky favorite parts was that he exclusively referred to Brian Gay as Brian Gay.
Brian Gay?
Said his full name every time.
I like that.
He's like, well, then Brian Gay had the wedge in this spot. And then he looked over at me and Brian Gay said this. I was like, he just really gives him the full name treatment.
I also like picturing him. He said he was just at Home Depot and he just pulled off to the side of the road to do a quick interview. He didn't want the service to go out?
Yeah, that's such a Chattanooga, Tennessee guy move to pull over on the side of the road.
I have a question for you.
Yep.
Is it Chattanooga or Chattanooga?
Probably Chattanooga.
Okay. I think he said Chattanooga.
Did he? Dude, what do I say?
You say Chattanooga.
Okay, interesting. I don't know. I think Chattanooga sounds cooler.
I think Chattanooga, well, this is just because we pronounce it different ways.
Mm-hmm.
I think Chattanooga sounds like cooler and more mysterious.
So, okay, interesting. So we say and we think the opposite of what each one of us does.
Correct.
Interesting. That's weird. Anyways, on to the next segment from the gallery. People love this one. It's often many people are saying that it's the folks' favorite segment. Everyone, please be reminded to send us stuff. Send us from the gallery stuff. Send it to Sunshine so that he has more email and shit to go through.
Foreplay at BarstoolSports.com?
Yep, that's right. You can also social media us. I don't know if that's the right verb.
You just verbed social media, but okay.
Social media us at ForePlayPod on both Instagram and Twitter. Our Instagram has blown the F up.
Yeah, and really start sending us stuff now because we have a full-time producer, or he's a producer, and who's just going to go through that stuff. So everything you send in is going to get seen.
Yep, we were less likely to see it prior to a week ago. Now Sunshine just sits there in his chair and goes through this shit all day. So send us stuff, send us stuff, send us stuff. Anyways, on to From the Gallery. From the Gallery, which is everybody's favorite segment, is brought to you by our friends at BombTech. We've talked about them many times because they are awesome. Direct-to-consumer golf company that, like I said, we're gigantic fans of. We're boys with. They do great stuff. They make awesome stuff. They're disrupting the golf industry because of it. That is bomb as in explosion, tech as in technology, golf because we're golf people. We love golf. That's why we're here. They are one of the fastest growing golf companies out there because of the quality and value they provide. BombTech builds clubs for the average golfer. That's you. That's guys like us. They don't give a shit about pros, gigantic sponsorship contracts, retail, none of that. They only care about you. That's why they're able to make them and sell them cheaper, even though they still got high quality. They may be kind of pissing off the rest of the golf industry, but they don't care. Neither do we. That's why we love them. Their only goal is to offer you, the regular golfer, more for your money. BombTech Golf offers the Grenade Wedge Set, 3 premium wedges for just $97. You get a 52-degree, a 56-degree, and a 60-degree wedge for a total of $97. Trent and I have them. We love them, right, Trent?
Yeah, and every time Chaps comes in, he just came in today, he's always coming up to me like, where are those wedges? I want to swing those around a little bit.
So Chap's going to get on board. He's going to buy them. The beauty of once you do acquire them, the stainless steel wedges are backed by a 60-day guarantee. If you don't like them, just send them back for a 100% refund. They ship next business day, and you really cannot find better performance and value combined. Also, they've partnered with the Foreplay guys for an exclusive offer. You go to Google, type in Grenade Wedges to find BombTech Golf. You can take an additional 15% off of that $97 unbelievable value for the Grenade Wedge set using the coupon code BOOM15. That's BOOM15. Boom15. Seriously, while you're listening to us right now, Google Grenade Wedges. Check them out. Both Trent and I have them. We love them. Chaps is going to have them. Everybody loves them. Google Grenade Wedges. Go get your wedges. Boom15 to get the promo code. On to From the Gallery. We got an interesting one this week.
Yep. I like this one a lot, actually.
So it's a little bit of which would you rather, which one's better. This guy says, my dad and grandfather were both scratch golfers in their prime. RIP to the glory days. My grandfather has had 8 holes-in-ones in his life.
Hole-in-ones?
Holes-in-ones? I think it's holes-in-ones. I think you pluralize the first word.
Okay.
But I don't know that for a fact. I might have just made that up. My dad has none. However, he has a double eagle, a.k.a. albatross. A lot of grammatical discussion going on here. Holed out from 240 yards when he was 14 years old. Boys, which one is more impressive? He goes on to say, obviously the double eagle is so much more rare, but 8 is a shit ton. Is there a point where the number of holes-in-ones, passes the double eagle on the impressiveness scale? Trent?
Okay. I have my answer, and it has nothing to do with which one is more rare or which one you have more of.
Okay.
My answer, it's hole-in-ones. And the reason is because it translates better when you're telling a story to people who aren't golf people. So if you tell someone, I got 8 holes in ones, whatever that is, they're going to know what that means and they're going to be extremely impressed. If you tell someone I got an albatross, you are going to have to explain that to them. And once you get done explaining, maybe they'll be like, yeah, that's pretty cool. But I like the shorter version of being like, I got 8 holes in ones. So that's cooler to me.
Yeah, it's essentially saying that non-golf people are like, they almost might say, oh, you play a lot of golf? Do you have a hole-in-one? That's like the first question out of people's mouths.
100% of the time.
People ask me that all the time. Like people that are, oh, Riggs, you do the golf podcast stuff, right? Do you have a hole-in-one? Like, I don't know why the fuck people think about that all the time, but that's the first thing that crosses their mind. It almost becomes then, it's almost simply a question of would you rather have a hole-in-one, not even 8, just a hole-in-one.
I would rather have one hole-in-one than an albatross.
The only reason I would say albatross is because the word albatross
Is awesome.
is so good. It's almost like when we got in a higher degree of trouble with our boss for boondoggling because he just loves the word boondoggle.
It's true.
I almost am inclined, I don't think I'm quite there yet, to prefer the double eagle because you can just call it an albatross, and that's such a sweet word.
Let me ask you this. It is a sweet word. That's true. The boondoggle correlation is spot on.
Mm-hmm.
You're even with golf people. If we turned it around instead of non-golf people, are they more impressed by an albatross than a hole-in-one?
Non-golf people or golf people?
Golf people. I still think hole-in-one wins.
I think there's technically a little bit more impressed because they know it's way more rare, but I don't think they necessarily care as much. I think they would all be in the same boat we are. We'd rather have a hole-in-one.
Yeah, because it's just easier to talk about. How close have you gotten to a hole-in-one? Can I ask that?
Not very, because I'm not a great iron player.
Yeah. Par threes are tough.
My iron play stinks.
Have you ever been with someone when they got a hole-in-one?
No.
No.
But I've been on the course and seen, we were teeing off on like a couple holes over, and we like heard and saw the reaction of a guy get a hole-in-one.
Okay, that's that's close enough.
Close enough, but no, I've never seen one.
I have never seen one either. I will say this. My buddy Dane got one. Shout out to Dane. He listened to the podcast. And he said, he invited me to go golf, and this was a couple years ago. And I was too hungover or something like that, and he got one that round. So I missed out on seeing one. I felt really bad. They said it was an awesome celebration while I was on my couch.
How about this? I have seen an albatross.
Get out.
Yeah.
See?
In my group.
Okay, so that kind of brings the question, like, would you rather see an albatross or would you rather see a hole-in-one? And the answer...
I would probably rather... Well, no, because the person is just so excited for a hole-in-one.
Well, and also, there's things
drinks.
There's a thing connected with the hole-in-one where, like an albatross, everybody's like, yeah, that was awesome. That's, like, incredibly rare. Hole-in-one, A, you know what that is. It's great, and there's going to be drinks, a lot of drinks afterwards.
Yeah, so my buddy, we were playing in a... it was a 4-man event, but it wasn't scramble. It was like it was best ball. You play your own ball, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like a one-day member. And he, on a par 5 that's like crazy, it's got this quirky like speed slot that's only like 6 yards wide that you can hit it way down the speed slot. He only had like 170 in, but it was a little downhill, so he hit like an 8-iron. And you could only see the top half of the flag. So he hit it, like landed right behind the pin, but then it kind of disappears because like you can't see that bottom half of the hole.
Yeah.
We're like, yeah, it looks really good. Great shot, man. So we drive up, and there's no ball near the hole, and we're like, Walk closer, you can see a ball mark like 4 or 5 feet behind the hole.
Oh, yeah.
And we're like, that's got to be it. He checks it. Sure enough, it's in the hole. So we did kind of get robbed of the celebration.
Oh, yeah, you did.
But it was still sweet. So it's crazy that I've seen one of those and not a hole-in-one.
That is crazy. So I think the bottom line is the albatross just doesn't have as much cultural significance.
Yeah, even though it's more rare.
Exactly.
So that's tough. That's tough for...
and for this guy to have 8 hole-in-ones,
yeah,
get out of here, dude.
That blows an albatross out of the water, I guess.
Get out of here.
How significant do you think the diminishing returns are on your excitement level on each hole-in-one? Like, is the 8th one, you're like, whatever?
Maybe for the person who's hitting it, there is. Although I want to say even no to that. But I would imagine it's different collection of people each time that you do it.
And they're jacked up?
So you probably ride that wave a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, because I know a couple guys at the club that I used to play at that have, like, a handful. It's like every couple months I feel like he's posting a picture on Facebook. Oh, another hole-in-one. I'm like, all right, dude. Relax.
Let me ask you this, since we're on the hole-in-one conversation. My dad got a hole-in-one on a simulator. What do you think about that? Swear to God.
No, doesn't count.
Yeah, see, we don't. Yeah, we was.
But
at
I would tell people that I got a hole in a simulator. I just wouldn't say I have a hole in one.
It was funny. It was at the local course where we used to play all the time back in Cedar Rapids, and it happened on the simulator. And you're right, it's not the same as a real hole in one, but they do have a plaque on the wall. They put your name up there, and they're like, "You got a hole in one."
Let me ask you this.
Okay.
I think all the time, because it doesn't happen much, but I used to play quite a bit by myself. I would just go out after work or something, play 9 or 18 holes. My biggest fear would be getting a hole in one by myself.
Yep.
Would you tell anybody if you got one?
Go ahead, Sunshine.
I don't think you can tell anybody. I feel like it's worthless. Just like you have no proof.
I'll tell you
Unless
this.
You take a video
Yeah, because then they
walking
might
from the
just
tee box.
think that you're like,
Yeah.
My mom's friend got a hole in one by herself, and she is hesitant every time she tells the story because she knows what we're gonna say.
yeah. I wouldn't even tell anybody, and then maybe on my deathbed, I'd grab my brother and be like, "Come here, Kyle. By the way, 2015, it was a Tuesday. I got a hole in one."
It's tough. It's almost one of those things where you have to be like, you have to tell people before, like, you're not gonna believe this. I know you're gonna shit on me, but I played by myself and I got a hole in one.
Yeah.
I think I trust my friends enough where I would be like, all right, I believe you. It just sucks that on par threes when you play alone, I almost want to like shank it on purpose.
No, when I hit a good one, I'm like, please don't go in, because I don't want this. Like, it's an eternal dilemma that you have to have.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. I think you got to save those good shots for when you're out with a group.
So that's talking hole-in-ones versus albatrosses. This week we've got the Dean and Deluca at Colonial. Colonial is kind of a classic. Been there for a long time. We posted on Foreplay today the unreal video of Phil Mickelson when he canned his putt on the 72nd hole to win at Colonial, and that guy heroically cannonballed immediately into the pond.
One of the best videos you'll ever see.
Just that guy was so jacked up, and just the Phil makes it right when he makes it. The guy jumps in. Couldn't have been a better video.
In my head, I want to think he probably pre-planned it, but in my head, I want to think that he just got so caught up in the moment that he didn't know what he was going to do, so he just jumped in the water.
Obviously he pre-planned it, but it comes off close enough to where you're like, maybe he didn't.
It's so like bang bang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's one of my favorite moments from the tourney. We do have Jordan Spieth, who is the defending champ, to keep a little bit of a trend going. He has gone miscut. Do you think is he up? It's his turn to win now?
You could say he's due.
You could say he's due. He loves Texas. He's a Texas guy. We posted as well a picture on Insta today of him doing the hook'em with the jacket and the trophy last year. Gave him the old hook'em. That's a little,
I love that jacket if we're being honest.
Yeah, we had kind of the talk after the RBC Heritage about because they do the same type of jacket right after the Masters.
Yeah.
Are we enough removed now where we're pro jacket?
Well, I remember if I remember correctly on that podcast, I contradicted myself in like a 2 minute.
You started anti-jacket, and by the end of it, you were pro jacket.
And I hold that to this day. I'm still on that side of it because I think the more I like clothing being given out as an award, as a trophy.
Just in general?
Yeah, just in general. Like even for non-golf stuff, like for drinking competitions or any sort of competition where they're at the end you get to put on an article of clothing and be like, I've beat all you motherfuckers. I think that's a great thing.
Yeah, I agree. I think in real life it's cooler than a trophy.
Yeah.
Like not tour life. I think with your buddies it's cooler than a trophy.
Yes, I would agree with that. Yeah, yeah.
Well, you got buddies that they'll play for like, a jacket, or they'll play for like a cool, crazy hat or something like that. That's like a crazy personalized straw hat, like on a weekend thing they do once a year, something like that.
Yeah,
I think it's better than a trophy.
Yeah, because when you get a trophy, you're going to lug that thing around. At least like you can wear that around at the bars that night and everybody can make fun of you or something.
Yeah, and like whenever you bring it to like a house party with those buddies where you're having, who knows, you have a cocktail party, you bring your fucking hat.
You're stunting on them because you got the win and they didn't.
Yeah, you're like, what's up? This is my sweet hat. It's weird to bring your trophy to like a party.
Yeah, you'd be a fucking weirdo.
But you can wear your hat.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, so I'm still pro articles of clothing as trophies.
So we got the Dean and Deluca this weekend. Keep your eye out for who's going to wear the cool jacket. It was Spieth last year. Apparently he's due based on the miscut situation.
Did Capfather give you any picks, or are you still in the dark?
No, I'm kind of in the dark. I do have another guy who sends me picks the day after we do the podcast every week.
That seems like a guy who's in it for the love of the game and doesn't want the shine. I think I like him better than Capfather.
Well, he sends me these DMs like, I don't know if he expects me to put him in the podcast, but I'm like, dude, the podcast's been up for like 8 hours.
Revisionist history, how did he pick for the Byron Nelson? Do you remember?
I don't check. I just know that he sends them to me.
You don't even look at him.
No, I basically, my first rule of thumb is I look for persistence. So once he gets 6 or 7 weeks in, then I'll start looking at his picks. I don't really care how he does right now.
Okay.
I care if he's persistent.
Oh, well, see, now I don't like that you admitted that on the podcast because now he is going to be persistent.
Is he, though? Persistence isn't necessarily something that you can just like get motivated by. Usually you're either persistent or you're not.
Fair enough. I guess we'll find out.
Anyways, I think that's this week's show. We went a little long with Kip Henley because he was so good. Also, we're in between the Byron Nelson and the Dean and Deluca, so who really gives a shit?
Yeah.
We'd rather talk to a caddy and get interesting stories than go super deep on the tourneys.
Uh-huh.
I think that's all we got.
I think it is too.
Enjoy the tourney. Enjoy the Dean and Deluca. Go Spieth. Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.
Hey, I'm Emmanuel Acho, host of Beyond the Film Room, where we take the muzzle off the mouth of premier athletes. Every Thursday, join me and your favorite sports figures as we tackle the uncharted topics of sport and discuss the far-reaching impact outside of the stadium itself. Download episodes every Thursday at podcastone.com, the Podcast One app, or subscribe at iTunes.
I hit it hard, man. So far, man. No laying up, no holding back. Ain't afraid of nothing, it's a natural fact. I hit it long, man. Till it's gone, man. Keep taking chances, living large. I hit it hard. Yeah, most people would have given up by now. All the rough I've seen, these ups and downs. Somehow I just keep on playing through. So all you critics pull up a chair. At the winner's circle soon, I'll be there with a high five and a smile for you. Hit it hard, man. So far, man. No laying up, no holding back. Afraid of nothing, it's a natural fact. I hit it long, man. Till it's gone, man. Keep taking chances, living large. I hit it hard. Had enough of people trying to tell me how to live my life. These lawyers and strings spending money like my ex-wives. Sure, I gamble and I drink and smoke 3 packs a day. Hell, ain't country music supposed to be this way? It's from the heart, man. I hit it hard, man. So far, man. No laying up, no holding back. Ain't afraid of nothing, it's a natural fact. I hit it long, man. Till it's gone, man. Keep taking chances, living large. I hit it hard. I hit it hard. I hit it hard, man. So far, man. No laying up, no holding back. Ain't afraid of nothing, it's a natural fact. I hit it long, man. Till it's gone, man. Keep taking chances, living large. I hit it hard. I'll keep hitting it hard, man.